Okay. Okay, here's an 11, what do you call it? 11 muffin pan, cast iron. This is, I have not put this through the furnace. It's got slight rust. It's not all that bad, but there's absolutely no seasoning on it. My sister got it. I don't know what brand it is. The only marking I can find is the little A right here. It looks almost like a Griswold pattern type, but I'm not sure. There's more rust on this side, down in here in the bottom where the casting is, down in here. But it's definitely muffins. They're not biscuits. Biscuits have straight sides and they're shallower. These are tapered. These are tapered little depressions. There's a better shot right there. I'm going to do the same thing with it. Oil and scrubbing should get rid of most of the rust. Here's the muffin pan. I've cleaned it with the oil and the abrasive pad, and then I washed it with soap and water. Now I've just heated it on the stove. It's got a little bit of discoloration. I'll clean it with a little salt and oil next. Here's the muffin tin after I've polished it off with some oil and salt. Salt's really hard to brush off when you're done with it because it's sticking on there by the oil. It's not so bad on a frying pan, but on this where you have all these little cups to brush out, and even worse, on the back, you've got all these indentations that are really hard to get into. It took a pretty long time, and plus it was pretty hard to polish out in there. But right now, this is a little bit oily, and what I want to do is heat it up, put it in, and heat it up to about 200 degrees Fahrenheit, and then put some Crisco on it, and then bake it in the oven at 350 degrees for about an hour, hour and a half, upside down, and that should give me a really nice seasoning, and if you do that twice, it should be pretty good. And then this pan will be ready to make some muffins. And I also was reading that you really want to preheat these cast iron muffin tins to full baking temperature before you add the batter. You'll put some oil in them, and then you put the batter in, and you should hear a sizzle, and then you bake it for the normal length of time, and then they should just fall right out and be really crispy on the edges. So I am looking forward to trying that once this is seasoned and ready to go. Alright, that's it. Okay, I've just heated up the muffin tin in the oven at about 200 degrees Fahrenheit. I put the Crisco on with a towel. You can see it turned brown because there was still a little bit of rust, I guess you would say, on the surface. So I wiped it. I put a little dab of Crisco in each little cup, and then I wiped it out. This is actually the second cloth. The first one was even worse. And I wiped it out to kind of clean it. Now I have a very thin layer of Crisco on it. I did the back as well, and I got a little dab in each one of these little depressions. Then I had to wipe it out, and that did clean the muffin tin some more. So now I'm ready to put it in the oven at 350, and then that should be the first step in the seasoning, and I'll probably just repeat it again for a second time and try it out. I put it in the oven, and I just wanted to show I have a piece of aluminum foil underneath the muffin tin, and notice the muffin tin is upside down on the top rack and the aluminum foil's on the bottom, and that's there to catch any drips, just to keep the oven a little bit cleaner. So let me shut the door so I don't lose all my heat. Here's the muffin tin after it came out of the oven. It's cooled off, and I noticed, I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's some drips, some places where the Crisco dripped out of the cavity, and it's solidified. If I catch the right angle with the light, maybe you'll see it. No, it's not really bad. I haven't cooked with it yet, but see, it's right in here. What I'm thinking of doing is just scraping across this with some metal, like a spatula, and then seasoning it again. You can also take the salt and oil and polish this a little bit, because this is a little sticky right here. It's not really, it doesn't peel off with, well, a little bit. It peels off a little bit with my fingernail. I don't know if you can see that. See a little bit there? That's not so bad. It's really not going to affect the cooking. But here it is, the back side. You can see the letter A again. Oops. The dimensions of this muffin pan are 11 inches long, so it's 11 inches from here to here, and it's 7.5 inches wide from here to here, and it's 1.5 inches deep from the top face to the bottom. That's 1.5 inches. So that's the size of this tin. These little finger holes are kind of curved in there. There's a nice curving to the pattern, so it's comfortable to hold. Obviously you're not going to do it if it's hot right out of the oven, but there it is. I've got to try something in it. So that's it.